Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5. It's June 5th, 2014. Today we got a theme, and that theme is running backs. Future ones we got, ones we might get, ones we might not. We'll be joined by Steve Wiltfong and Bill Kurelic, two of the best in the business, to help us along. I hope you enjoy. 24/7 Sports Recruiting Director Steve Wiltfong posted a story yesterday on Cleveland Benedictine Class of 2015 standout Jerome Baker, who could be looked at as running back or linebacker in the class of 2015, and checked in with this report on where he might end up in the long run.
It is a two-team race right now for Jerome Baker between Ohio State and Florida. However, in the end, I'd still be very surprised if the nation's number 4 athlete recruit, number 2 player in Ohio, and top 50 prospect overall, Jerome Baker, ends up anywhere other than Ohio State. Urban Meyer is personally recruiting Jerome Baker. The two talk at least once a week. Anytime Urban Meyer is that involved with the recruit, he very rarely loses the recruiting battle. He typically out-recruits any other head coach that he's going up against, and in this case, that is what's happening again. Jerome Baker grew up an Ohio State fan, lives in the state, has been there several times, is very comfortable with the school, and in the end, I think he'll be a Buckeye. But at the same time, it's easy to see why he's interested in Florida. He went and visited this spring. They're doing a nice job recruiting him. They have a lot of nice things to offer a student athlete, and Baker sees opportunity at Florida. He wants to take some official visits, with Florida being one of them. So, he's certainly giving Florida a look, but when it's all said and done, I think he's going to have a hard time picking any other school besides Ohio State.
We greatly appreciate Steve joining us, and we like even more the way he finished off that segment. And while the theme of the show is running backs, and Baker is currently being recruited as a linebacker for Ohio State, anybody who read the long view yesterday knows about his versatility, and there's a very good chance he could end up on offense. You just never know. Talking about the current running back situation, what we'll be watching going into training camp, and I got to believe it's the battle for the number 2 spot. We've been told it's most likely going to be Curtis Samuel. What I'm really looking forward to is seeing how that affects Breontae Dunn and Warren Ball. It would be great if they're willing to stick it out, provide that quality depth you need, especially at a position where there's so much contact. At the same time, running back to me is kind of like quarterback, and that you need to have a designed path on the way to get touches. Otherwise, you can't improve your value that much. So this will be very interesting. Curtis Samuel has made a big impression on the staff. I think there may have been some thought early on that he was going to be more of a wingback in the Dontre Wilson mold, but once he came in, they found he was better at running between the tackles than they expected, and they're going to get as much as they can out of the freshman from Brooklyn. Speaking of running back recruiting in the class of 2015 and getting back to that, we've talked at length about Larry Scott, the star Ohioan out of Hubbard in Northeast Ohio. Has there been a change on the recruiting front? We check in with Bill Kurelic for the latest.
If you've been watching the 24/7 Sports Crystal Ball this morning, you probably noticed there are some predictions now with Hubbard, Ohio running back Larry Scott heading to Ohio State. Well, I did some checking and have been told that Scott indeed had a very, very good time on his visit to Ohio State last weekend. He made the visit with his brother Isaiah. The two had a lot of fun. Larry Scott was very impressed, and that visit has changed his thinking about Ohio State quite a bit. Ohio State is definitely now high on his list. I'm also told that academically things are on the upswing with Scott, making Ohio State a possibility. Scott, I am told, is planning to announce his decision in August, and this one certainly now is very interesting between Ohio State and Michigan State. Michigan State had previously been considered the heavy lean, but now things have changed quite a bit with Larry Scott. The 6 foot and 210-pound Scott rushed for over 1,600 yards in each of the past 2 seasons. He is definitely one of the top 2015 talents in the state of Ohio.
As you can see, there's a reason guys like Bill Kurelic work around the clock, because recruiting is fluid and things can change. We thank Bill for his efforts, and also Steve Wiltfong. Be sure to catch Outside Columbus and the Boarding House coming up later this morning on the site. Have a great day, Bucknutters.